What's the stupidest way you've hurt yourself? Hey guys, welcome back to the internet. So we're back with another question of the day. I think this might be kind of a short one though. I've sneezed and had a sharp neck pain for a week after. This happened more than once. Hey, sneezing can be a dangerous game. I jumped from the roof of our house when I was 10 to see if it hurts or I'll survive. When I landed, it was like an electric shock on my feet. Yeah, if you're trying something out with the intent to see if you will survive, it's probably not a good thing to try. Actually, I jumped off my roof once around that same age. My mom was just in the kitchen looking out the window and she just sees me go whoop. Honestly, the biggest pain from landing was basically just kicking myself in the butt. So I just realized I have one for me too. When I was in middle school, I was shaving my legs and then I brought the razor up to put it back in the shelf. And I held it too close to my body and I cut my nipple open. Hurt so bad. Didn't tell my parents or see a doctor, just had a swollen cut nipple for a while. As a kid, I once wanted to shave myself, just like my dad did. It's kinda obvious what happened next. Blood everywhere. I still have a scar on my face. Yeah, I stay far away from straight razors, I only ever use electric. In high school, I was showing off with a staple gun and accidentally stapled myself in the chest. Then, when telling the story later, I picked up a staple gun to demonstrate and accidentally did it again. I'm not a clever person. Well, at least you added a lot of realism to the story. Hopefully you didn't just staple yourself while typing this. When I was 13, I was walking down my street, and there was a bee that landed on me right under my eye. In a brilliant move, I brain farted and punched myself in the face to swat it away. Hey, you're only supposed to do that if you see a bug on somebody else's face. So my sister did something like this. She swung a loaded shopping bag at a wasp which was flying between her and my mother. She missed the wasp, but not my mother, who had no idea what was going on, and just thought my sister had lost her crap and whacked her with a heavy shopping bag out of pure spite. So my mom rolled up her sleeves and said about my sister whilst I walk on as though I'd never seen either of them in my life before. I know this is kinda true for a lot of these stories, but this sounds like something out of a cartoon. So I was being attacked by aliens in a dream. When they backed me into a corner, I kicked one in the head. I woke up immediately in pain. I had just kicked my wall in real life, badly sprained my ankle, and couldn't walk properly for a week. Or maybe you actually did get abducted by aliens, and they sprained your ankle and then erased your memory and put you back in bed. I know it sounds very Looney Tunes, but I actually stepped on the head of a rake once, and the handle hit me in the face. Hey, I mean, that joke had to come from somewhere, it really does happen. My brother was teasing me while I was doing homework. I think I was maybe 8 or 9 at the time, and after a few minutes I snapped, took a pencil, and went to jab him with the eraser end, so as to not hurt him too badly, to get him to shut up. To get a bit more force behind it, I decided to wrap my index finger over the other end, the end with the point. I'm sure you can guess what happened next. A lot of crying and a trip to the emergency room later. I had a pencil point being removed from my finger. Yeah, believe it or not, there's just as much force pushing on the other end of the pencil when you are stabbing it down like that. So as a kid, I saw a rabbit on the other side of a fence, so I tried to climb over, knowing full well it was hot wire. Naturally, I fell off the wood between the wires, and nearly electrocuted myself when I fell onto the wire. Never did get a hold of that stupid rabbit. Man, I think this one sounds even more like a Looney Tunes episode of you getting outsmarted by a rabbit. I drank from a glass bottle while walking, knocking out a piece of my tooth. Dang, you must have hit it pretty hard. I no longer have a toenail because the garbage was too heavy. I was taking out the garbage in sandals, but the garbage bag was too heavy to carry, so I put it on my skateboard and rolled it out to the street. The tip of the skateboard lodged under my big toe and ripped it off. 3 faulty regrows later, I just don't have a toenail on my big toe anymore. You know, this is one of those where I'm trying to picture what just happened, but I can't seem to figure it out. I once went on my balcony to smoke a cigarette, only I forgot that there was no balcony there anymore because it was getting fixed. So I broke my leg falling 1 story down. Now the real irony was, my mother wanted to fix the balcony because it was old and she was afraid it might break off and I might hurt myself. Thanks, Mom. So it happened 6 years and 3+ days ago. Was home alone early afternoon, believed I was home alone, but then I heard a noise that I thought was inside the house. No one else should be home but me, so I was spooked. I crept out and listened for movement and thought I heard a voice downstairs. I tried to sneak down the stairs but only made it to the first step. By the second step, my heel slipped out from under me and I planted hard on the step and slid down to the last 3 steps, finally able to stop. My shoulder was sore trying to save myself on the rail. My back is all beat up from hitting all the steps down. My butt, my tailbone, is pulsing nothing but pain. Trying to get up made it worse. Nothing felt broken. I was able to get up after a minute or so and baby step around the corner where I found the source. It was my neighbors talking in their backyard, and my brother had his window open, allowing it to carry into the house. For 5 years, if I sat longer than an hour, my tailbone or coccyx hurt. Watching movies, which I love, was always troublesome. I got seat cushions for it that I couldn't go without at home. About 7 months ago, it just stopped. No more pain. Yeah, I suppose pretty much everybody's hurt themselves at some point. I've fallen down the stairs a couple times. One time when I was like a teenager or something, I just like stood up one day and I just like blacked out and fell backwards down a flight of stairs. I mean, they were carpeted, so it wasn't too bad, but I was just like, what just happened? Not about me, but someone who sat next to me in class a while ago. She was clipping her toenails and a big toenail flew up and hit her in the eye, and she had to go to the doctor because it cut her eye. So she had a bandaged eye for a while. Geez, some of these are just like weird freak accidents that are not supposed to happen. When I was about 16, I was telling a story to my sister's boyfriend. I was rather animated about it and began to flail my arms about, until I hit the glass fixtures of our ceiling fan and showered glass upon myself. Part of the glass cut around my nose and I began to rain blood. Was left with a nice scar and a decent story about situational awareness while speaking. Yeah, it sucks when you have to learn that the hard way. Alright, so my sister is only 1 year older than me, and when we were very young, me 3 and her 4, we were in the bath together. I guess my mom thought this way was easier. She left to get something, and my sister said that I should dive into the tub like a dolphin. Me, being the idiot toddler I was, decided this was a wonderful idea and dove right in. Had to get 3 or 4 stitches and a lifetime of stories told about it. Did your parents put up no diving signs in the bathtub after that? Take your pick. Number 1, I burnt the crap out of my hand on a go-kart muffler, trying to help the neighborhood kid push it out of a ditch. Ended up with a blister 4 inches high on my palm. Or number 2, I was running through the house, on tile, with socks. Inevitably, I slipped and had to catch myself on the couch. Unfortunately, I got my finger stuck between the cushions and broke my finger. Both of these happened in the same year. And just turning into a walking disaster. I was leaning over a fence post, trying to bend straight a nail I just mishit and bent. Only rather than use the claw of the hammer, I used the face of the head of the hammer. Slipped off and smashed myself in the forehead. A good 15 years later, and I still have the scar on my forehead like a crap Harry Potter. Yeah, too bad hitting yourself in the face with a hammer doesn't make you the chosen one. I was 8 years old and running home on my lunch break so that I could watch Inspector Gadget, which came on at noon. I decided it would be neat to look down at my feet while I ran, and the next thing I know, I run full speed into a parked car. I think I laid like a dead body on the road for a good 5 to 10 minutes. It hurt so badly. I was late for my Inspector Gadget episode and never told anyone what happened. Oh, it's a double sad day when you also miss your show. As a security guard, I was running to deal with an issue, and my flashlight came out of its pouch and went between my foot and the ground. I stepped on it and broke my ankle. Man, was this Paul Blart writing this story? I broke my foot kicking the tires of a car I was considering buying. Okay, either you were kicking this thing way too hard, or you're made out of glass. Buried at the bottom, so I am safe. I was at work in a high-stress office complex in Virginia. The work made you eat quickly and often at your desk. I was eating a baby carrot and tortilla chips, when all of a sudden I get stabbed with the edge of a chip midway chewing a carrot. Blood all down my throat. The chip was sharp, and I turned blue choking on baby carrots. Good times nearly getting killed by a chip and a carrot. Learn to slow down when eating. Man, see, eating can be pretty dangerous, and people wonder why I'm so skinny. Once as a child, I lit a dryer sheet on fire, thinking it would burn really fast because it's just fluff, right? Nah, it's more like plastic. I started dripping flaming molten balls of hatred on my floor. I was scared, I panicked, I shook the dryer sheet. A few molten plastic lava ball burns on my face and arms later, I now respect the laundry and leave it to my wife. Yeah, give them the dangerous jobs. I fell asleep while riding a bicycle. I was sober, but going to school full-time and working a part-time job. Knocked myself unconscious and got pretty banged up. It hurt when I woke up on the pavement. Man, you must have to be really tired to fall asleep while biking. But speaking of being really tired, I think I'm ready for bed already. Like I mentioned in my last video, I've been working a lot on a big project I've got coming out soon, but I've got it mostly finished, so hopefully we should be able to release it soon. So yeah, look forward to that and enjoy the Fae of the day. Oh, you don't get my fries. What are you going to do with my hand? Come on. Oh, it's gone. Oh no.